G'day, it's Steph here from Tradies Get Online, and today I have Mark from Trade Trak. G'day, Mark.
Hi, Steph. How are you today?
I'm pretty good. It's a
Excellent.
nice afternoon. It's not raining here, so that's good.
No, it's pouring in Melbourne, no, but that's Melbourne for you.
As long as you got good
Uh,
coffee, I think in Melbourne,
that's exactly right. Never a shortage of good coffee.
Well, I mean, today we wanted to talk about winning more work and managing more work, and I think you and I have realised we've got a really good sort of synergy going on here.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that there's a constant message that comes back from our user base that's just asking us, yes, I know, Mark, how to manage the work now. I have Trade Trak, but how do I actually bring work in? What do I need to be doing, or what am I doing wrong? So today will be a great lesson learned for our user base.
Yeah, awesome. Well, let's start on my end, like winning more work. That's what we do here at Tradies Get Online with the Trades Accelerate system. I don't want to go too deep into all this like jargon and crap. Let's talk about really simply, how does a tradesman win more work? So I guess I've got like a bit of a model, Mark. I like to go about all my models here. So my three pillars are the foundation, the position, and the automation. Now, in order to win work, we need to be able to collect that work. And I guess it starts with foundation. So I don't know if your customers, if they come to you and they say, look, I'm all good with managing the work now. Thank you, Trade Trak. I'm just not winning enough work. And it might be the fact that their foundation is actually missing.
Absolutely. I think that there's lots of different business types and people in different business areas that don't actually know, for one, how to start, or they're used to using something that's an old school system, or they've just totally lost it in being able to start this process. So I think that the foundation is exactly what they need to learn about.
And I think, like, if we go back to old school, like it used to be just as simple as, a Yellow Pages ad and boom, you'd get some work.
That's right.
It's
Yeah,
a little
yeah.
different now.
The days of putting your logo on the football fence and people would call you, well, I think you're out the door. So
Oh, I love the football fence reference here, because I know so many trade like friends and buddies that are still spending money inside the local, footy, baseball, AFL. This
yep.
there's a guy that I know doing squash. I hope he doesn't listen. Sorry, but it's just like, that is such old school. Okay, so let's not talk about all this old school stuff. Let's talk about the foundation. Let's talk about the fact that you must have a website. So you got to have a website to basically be the base, be the foundation of everything that you've got online. Now that means homepage. What the hell do you do? About page. Who are you? We want to talk about the services and the location that you serve. I think these are very often missed. Like, what do you actually do and every single service that you provide? And then also the
Yep.
locations. Of course, you need a contact page. So like, bare minimum, I mean, some of your customers might have the basic foundation. They might just have 3 or 4 pages. And that next step for them would be to build out those service pages and those location pages. Or if they've got nothing, then of course, then let's start and get that foundation up. And now you know exactly what, key pieces you should be doing. So the foundation means everything polished and done. Your website looks good. Your Facebook page is there and up, and it's got a profile picture and a cover image, all that kind of stuff. You actually look like an active business. Big on Instagram. I'd love to see a nice, healthy Instagram page with lots of tiles and this kind of thing. Of course, LinkedIn for some more commercial stuff, but really, like, is your footprint online and does it look polished? Because I mean, Trade Trak is such a professional piece of software, and the fact that you're managing the work and it's all streamlined and brilliant, if the customer has that expectation, or if they see that expectation from the front end coming on that website and foundational stuff, and then they get blown away by the fact that how you manage the actual job, I mean, you've got that customer for life.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. I think that that's a large jump for a lot of businesses to start thinking about Facebook and start thinking about Instagram and the like. But when you take us through the program and how easy it is to manage that system, or you get someone to help you with it, it's so important to be able to have that process that starts right at the initial contact with a customer all the way through to the time that you leave them and shake their hand at the end of the job.
Yeah. I think actually, like through our conversations here, I think you even commented the fact that managing a job and following up that relationship as you leave, like as you enter the customer's premises, as you leave the customer's premises, you said it yourself, you are always marketing.
Absolutely. Every single moment you're on site, from the way that you look, to the way that you speak to a customer, to the way that you provide them with a quotation, to the way the quotation looks, to your representation on site, is all a pure representation of your business and brand. So it's important to make sure that we're putting all those things in place. And a lot of people think to themselves, it's too hard for me to manage that. But at the end of the day, it might only take 5 or 10 minutes per job to get that customer for life.
Yeah. And it's so worth it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean,
Absolutely.
I've got a note in here about how like it's actually the cheapest customer is a customer that you've actually already bought, that's actually bought from you before. So why would you want to burn those customers and just throw them out now that you've finished off your invoices and everything?
That's exactly right. Once you've spoken to them, you've spent the time with them, you've won them over, you've done all the hard work to get them there. Why wouldn't you go back to them for more? Or why wouldn't you continue to advertise your business to them, or keep your business front of mind for them when they're thinking about doing something down the track, or recommending a product or a person or a business?
Yeah. And I think like, you can't, people throw out email marketing, and does that even work? And all these like little messages that we can flick out. I mean, it does work. You just need to actually do the work. Let me jump into my two other points here, and then let's flip the page and go over to yourself. So foundation was the first one. We've spoken at length on this one. Quickly, the next piece there is position, and then the final piece there is automation, and we've really touched on that one just now too. Automation, meaning, do you get reviews automatically every single time you leave a premises? Do you talk to the relationships in the business that you're creating? So again, you've just entered someone's premises, you've just left. What happens to that relationship? How are you going to nurture it? The last one there is the incoming items. So it's your prospects. How are you speaking to your prospects, and how are you managing that upfront relationship before you get into the premises? And how are you managing that job with your systems and software, or lack of systems and software, so that you can be the A player basically in your marketplace? So that's really that automation piece for us. The last piece that I'll just touch on here is the positioning. And Mark, we've spoken a little bit about this too. Like, okay, we need a website, we need social media. There's a difference between the user's intent and where our spend's going to go. So if we talk about someone's just got a block drain and there's water bursting everywhere, they see that, they go, holy moly, straight into Google. Their intent is to fix that problem right now. So they're going to jump straight into Google. Now, position. If you're on the first page of Google, and you're using AdWords to make sure that you are on the first position, so Google Ads, pay per click AdWords, or you're just in the local listings there, or even in the map, have you got the positioning to demand that customer to call you? And then of course, does your foundation look good and all that other stuff? Let's not go too deep. So the user intent, there's just that block drain. We're imagining there's water going everywhere. They are going to jump straight into their phone and straight into Google. The other side of that coin is the follow-up, the fact that you maybe are a plumber and you're doing a 65 key piece audit, and you want to publish that on, say, social media and follow the residents around. That is a completely different user intent. So I always like to educate my customers and community on the fact that, okay, we've got two different types of customers, because, Facebook's the best. Well, no. We need a well-rounded marketing campaign to really make sure we attract these type of customers. I feel like I haven't come back to you, Mark, but does this come up with your community?
Yeah, absolutely. I think you're exactly right. There's different types of customers, there's different types of advertising, and there's people looking for different experiences as well. So you've got the people who are actively looking for a solution, and you've got people out there who are browsing through something, who will get something pop up that they think, I can make that work for what I'm looking for. So I think that there's different types of customer, and there's different types of customer expectation, and we need to have a different pattern or a different system that we use to bring everyone into the funnel.
So I mean, I've talked at large here on like winning work, right? So what about managing work? Like how can you and Trade Trak help the guys manage more work?
Well, I think that managing work starts at understanding customer expectation. So we've spoken about it from the start here, that there's a customer intent and there's customer expectation. And I feel that Trade Trak allows you to manage customer expectation really simply on site. So you're winning customers through your advertising and bringing them into your funnel. You're getting the opportunity to then go and see them. So it's a perfect opportunity to win that customer over. And Trade Trak allows you to offer that point of difference. So whether it's a small business, a medium-sized business, whether you're dealing with a builder or you're dealing with an everyday customer, you've got the opportunity to provide a point of difference and really manage customer expectations. So the amount of businesses we see who spend all this money to get a lead, to get to the house, to arrive late, or to not arrive at all, or they don't contact the customer within 2 or 3 days of getting the opportunity of the lead. All that type of stuff is customer expectation. Now, with Trade Trak, you can set the job up, schedule your staff, and manage it from the front end, which is great. But when you arrive on site, the ability to quote the customer when you're standing there, to discuss what you're going to do for them to solve their points of pain on site is really powerful. It gives you the first opportunity to win the job. So once you've taken that opportunity, whether it's by completing the quote on site, negotiating the job, taking a credit card payment or a deposit, all those types of things are really powerful. But then from a builder point of view, to be able to provide professional quotes in depth with attachments, with specifications or photos or site inspections or pre-inspection reports, all this type of stuff, they are points of difference that meet or exceed customer expectation. And I think that
Yeah.
that's a really important one to be able to manage. So what we find with our businesses is that we have a lot of trade businesses who will go to site, they come unprepared, they don't have the customer details, or they have their quoting system right, but then when they get their workers to go to the site, they haven't passed on the details appropriately. They don't know what they're meant to be doing on site, so your workers work on and they start talking to the owner about what are they doing that day. All these things just ruin the customer expectation. So with some simple steps in Trade Trak, you can really manage customer expectation, streamline your jobs, and win more work and manage more work as well, which is a really easy and simplified way to do that. Everything from quoting and invoicing to in-field customer reports. With your builders, it can be things like on-site safety and safe work method statements. All those types of things are the big difference between your competition and what you're providing to a business.
I mean, Mark, I really love the way that you've just said, like, the amount of trades businesses that are spending all this money up front to send an employer to the front door late, looking like crap, no documentation, cannot bill on site, like cannot take the money. Like that's the most important part, like getting paid, charging a fair rate, doing a fair job and actually getting paid. Like who wants to spend all that money at the top of the funnel just to burn it at the end?
Yep, absolutely. I always say to every single one of our accounts, if you have solved a customer's problem on site, whether it's an emergency call out or a booked inspection, it doesn't matter. But if you can go there, walk into someone's home, solve their issues, be professional, invoice them on the spot, you have got such a better chance of being paid on site for that than sending them a bill in 3 months' time when they've sat back and thought, geez, he wasn't here for that long. He was on time, but it just gives them a reason not to pay you.
Yeah.
So take the payment on site, close the job off, move on to the next one, because all you end up doing is taking all that paperwork and all that reporting and stuff back to your office or your home or your kitchen bench, and you do it in the time when you should be using that time for your family or for catching up with friends or whatever it is in your life that you want to do, whether it's growing your business or whether it's spending more time with your family. But to have that time back is really, really valuable.
Yeah, wow. I mean, I just think like getting paid. I mean, how simple is that, right? And how I think payment too is like it's tough to bring up, but I think it's a muscle. I think that the more confident that you get with knowing your team and how organized they are and how like well managed they are, I think arming your team or arming just yourself to basically have an entire system run up and you can basically build them at the end and not have to take all that home to the kitchen bench. I think that's a massive win.
Yeah, absolutely. It's incredible how many people don't want to get paid for the work that they do. So they feel nervous asking for payment. Even if
Yeah.
it's a quota job, a lot of people feel nervous. So I think that when you have confidence in your platform and confidence in your systems, and you're providing these points of difference and you know that you are doing it to an elite level, there's no reason why you wouldn't ask for money on completion of a job, because you know that you've quoted it well, you've provided the service you said you were going to provide, you've done it professionally, you've got quality assurance, you've got the support that's required for the job. When you leave, you know that the customer's happy and they're willing to pay you. And I think that's a big difference between people who don't have a system. They're nervous to ask for payment because they know deep down they probably haven't done the job to the customer's expectation. But when you know that the expectation of that customer has been met or exceeded, it becomes a lot easier for that final section. I think the Trade Trak allows you to exceed that customer expectation quite simply without having to have an overly complex system for businesses.
Yeah, yeah. And I think you and I just joked a little bit earlier about how we can very easily make business so difficult when in fact the easier it is, the more simple, the better.
Yep, that's right. And a lot of businesses that we talk to, they'll say to me, Mark, the easiest thing I do in my business is, the job, whether it's plumbing or electrical or carpentry or landscaping. That's the easy bit. It's all the other stuff on the outside that makes it difficult to run a business. And I think that with a good system of lead generation, managing leads and customer expectation in your job management platform, it alleviates a lot of those headaches, so you can actually get back to doing those things which are simple and more fun to do.
Awesome. So like literally streamline every job, save you time, and I mean put money back in the business basically.
That's exactly right. So, and the beauty of it is it suits any trade business. So whether it's a small sole operator who wants to just continue on at the same rate but have all the headaches out of his business and he wants more time to go fishing or to spend time with his family or whatever it is, or if you're an ambitious business owner who wants to grow it and spread their business and have contractors, and it suits every business style, type and size.
Yeah, right. Awesome. Cool.
So
So yeah, literally get paid faster, job done, improve cash flow.
it sounds quite simple, doesn't it?
So where can listeners connect with you?
So obviously through our website at tradetrak.com.au, there's an inquiries page there. We've got the ability to sign up to Trade Trak, 5 free jobs, get online, get on board. One of our team will touch base with you and we can look at how we can streamline your business and start saving you money and time.
I was actually going to say there's a rumor. It's like a dollar a job, isn't it?
$1 a job, that's it. So if you've got 1 employee, it's $1 per job. If you've got 100 employees, it's $1 per job. And
Yeah.
the beauty of it is as well, the amount of people through this COVID lockdown, and what we've seen is they've got multiple employees sitting at home. They're paying monthly per employee for them to sit at home and not use a management system. So with Trade Trak, at the dollar per job, that's all it is.